Hello, everybody. Welcome back with the final episode of the year. Next year, oh my God, can you believe it? You're probably actually listening to this in the year 2022 at least. Wow, that's insane for me. But I really want to talk about what I want to personally change about 2022 and how I want to develop, and hopefully maybe you guys could listen along or not play along, but let your mind be open, because I truly feel like during the COVID years, I think personally a lot of people has stunt their growth, not in like the physical aspect but more in the mental aspect, if I'm going to be honest with you, where I think a lot of people, majority, were confined to their house or got sick and just had to suffer through the pain or focus on other people that you cared about instead of really focusing on yourself. So I really want to dive right into that and how 2022 is going to, what I want it to do. So it's sort of like a New Year's resolution, but not really, on shit that I really want to do. And I've said this before, where you got to have short-term goals and you got to have long-term goals. And I maybe I'll dive right into them, both of them, later on in this episode. But truly, wholeheartedly, my first goal, which I'm working toward, and it's sort of out of my hands already, is I need my Spyro stuff done. I need my Spyro stuff absolutely gone. And I've gotten this question a lot via people on media and emails. Be like, why are you selling something or selling your whole collection that you love so much? I just don't get it. And simply because it was more of an addiction, and I'm trying to not focus on material things, not in like a Buddhist sort of way. I've gotten that as well. Are you conforming to Buddhism, where no possessions that hold you back, and do things that only improve your life? And I am sort of, in a way, I just really wanted to be the best, just like anything I ever was. I had a little addiction personality where, via trading cards, collections, Spyro items, I just wanted to be the best. And once I was Funko Pops, once I wanted to be the best, I had no other reason except to do it. And now that I'm at this point where a lot of things have sold, my mind is at ease at this point, and I've just been happier, where I don't have to waste time on eBay or Amazon or my connections, be like, hey, do you have that new Spyro item? Blah 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 blah. Or that old Spyro item. No, it was a habit. I needed to kick it, and that's it. It was more of a growing standpoint where I don't want to do something just to do it. And a lot of people were just like, are you not going to be in the community anymore, or what? It's going to be one of those things where, yeah, I love the game still. I really do, but it goes to the factor where it may just be smart for me just to step back, and that's okay. Where it's really the stages where, if you have a problem, you gotta let yourself know before other people notice. And like I said, it wasn't a problem to the point where I loved collecting. I got it for a cheap price, got it for a reasonable price. And looking back on it, it was more of an investment, because I'm making more money off on what I paid, which is nice. On the other hand, it is one of those things where it is sad to go, because once you really put time and effort into a project, and you just basically see it wither away or crumble, or they're gone forever, it kicks you in the heart a little bit. And I know a lot of people I talk about my collection, and a lot of people build it as a relationship standpoint for them, where it's the same concept. You're building love for one another, and one piece could just fall, and something could happen, or whatever. Sometimes you just got to realize, take a step back and be like, oh my god, maybe this person isn't right for me. And like I said, I truly appreciate all the emails I'm getting, and I really want to sum them up in each time. And I know a lot of people are having heartaches via the holidays and breakups. I feel flattered that you're going to me. I really do appreciate it, because it is seriously one of those topics where, in my opinion, there's more one-sided conversations where I'm just fucking honest a lot of the time, where you got to realize it could have been your fault, it could have been the other person's fault, but you really had to converse. With me, I'm very open and everything about my heart, and that's just who I am. And I know somebody very special in my life that, at one point I think they felt very bad that they weren't as open as myself, and for that I don't mind that if people have shells. I truly don't. It's not, I don't look at it as a crux, or a negative, because I think personally everybody should have a shell, like a shell that they could go back to. It's one of my sayings. When I was very little, I took my mask off very young. I had no reason to bullshit. I had no reason to lie. This is who I am. You either like it, you love it, or you hate it. And that's the chip on my shoulder that I always had, where you could agree with me, you could disagree, you could call me ugly, you could call me beautiful. It's at that standpoint where everybody's going to have a different opinion of you, but you never know until they say it. So whenever somebody asks me an opinion, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is what I think, because I take it as very personable and very lovable that you trust my opinion. And I think also the people that have shells or no shells, in my opinion, because I'm one of these people where they've just been hurt before or have trust issues, and they really base people in another category, where a lot of emails I'm reading, last episode, where it struck people where if one person hurt you, you shouldn't blame the next person that you go on a date with or whomever, because they're not that person. It's true. And unfortunately, if you do that, then that's your own fault. Where if you're not giving everybody a chance, because I want to make this clear, where in a relationship you have your types. For majority of people, you have asexual and pansexual and all that. You fall in love with their personality. At one point, shit, I thought I was that, because I've truly fallen more in love spiritually and personality wise than looks. And looks is just a cherry on top for me. And it is what it is, where if you got to bond with that person, you got to have the connection. And unfortunately, I'm not one of those people that just jump in the sack, giddy up, ride 'em cowboy. But no, I'm not one of those people. But there are people more and more in this generation that just want that as a relief and a pleasure, and shit, whatever works, it works for you. But if somebody hurt you, you should expect them to you should have your guard up with that next person, but you should let them know, be like, hey, I was hurt before, and just don't shoo them off. Because if you're type compatible, and you're having a really good conversation, and if they move in for a kiss or something, or a hug or whatever, and you don't feel comfortable, then don't fucking do it. But you got to tell them. You got to tell them, hey, I got, please respect my boundaries. I was hurt recently. And if they don't respect your bounds right then and there, give them the finger and say, fuck you. But if they do, you should really continue that virtue. You got to grow in that standpoint. And I did want to get that, right off the bat, right away, because the emails, like I said, I think eventually I will be doing a relationship podcast episode, because you guys are so vocal about it, men and women, because I'm one of those people where the women and the men could just fuck up more. It's really an equal opportunity there, where anybody could fuck up at any point, where I'm not gonna dive into it. One email was oh man, I caught my man cheating, and I was brokenhearted, and we broken up and everything. We got back together, and then I cheated on him, but I blamed him because my heart was hurt because he did it first. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. If you decide to get back together and you did the same thing they did, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, fuck me. It's both points. But that was one email that I really want to talk about and everything, where it could have been your fault, it could have been yours. It's really the eye of the beholder. But in those circumstances where you really got to look hard at the situation, you may want a third party. And I think that's why people are sending me emails on that. But I would get a friend. You can't go with a family member. You can't, because they're going to be biased. But go with a third party. Hell, I would ask somebody on the street, if I'm going to be honest. But another way how I'm gonna change, or how I'm gonna grow next year, is I think I'm gonna guard my heart more. Now, that being said, the people that already have my trust and love, don't worry about it. All right, you have my love, you have my heart already. But I've been known to trust people very easily, and I've gotten taken advantage of. And it's not that I want to build a wall. It's just like, I really have to analyze the situation until going head first in the tunnel, because I think of it as I've mentioned this word before, a soul resident with people. And if in another way how I put it, where each of your friends right now could represent a tarot or a persona or whatever, where you could have a connection like nobody else can, but it could have been treacherous, it could have been deceiving, and you never know how that friendship is until it ends, or if it ends. Where you could have friends till the end, and it's one of those things where if you open your heart to so many people, and so many people, and only a certain percentage of people really care for you back or to give you intake, it hurts, because you're just like, I gave this person, like, they're like a flower, like, you nurtured them and loved them, watered them, fed them and everything, and you're just like, oh, where's that love in return? I need sunlight, or I need something, and I gave you the world. And it's just like, oh no, like, there's friendships and then there's love, and it's one of those things where I gotta guard my heart more. And I'm very glad that I basically have a split structure, or a totem pole, and the people that are way at the top, they know who they are, or way at the bottom. And it's one of those things where I really gotta prioritize better. I gotta give the people that care about me the time of the day, and everything first before anybody else. But that doesn't really mean the community or the friends or whatever. It doesn't mean that I'm not gonna let people in. It's just like it's got to be more of an earning factor now, and I've just let people in way too easily. And I know a lot of people, I think, have that problem where I was talking to somebody very recently, and they're like, well, I care more about people than myself. And I'm like, I was fucking there with you. I was there with you. I'm like, I couldn't give a shit about myself until I realized, oh, wow, this is my life here. You know, I loved myself. I just didn't care for myself. So I get you. I was there. What I realized, if I'm honest, I had to take me days and focus on me, meditate more, do stuff that I really wanted to do, not really get cooped up in the house or anything. Break that cycle, because I've gotten into the swing of things where it's a routine. And if you're one of those people, bless your heart, like, oh, I'm in a routine. I think of it as a hamster on a wheel, and you're just running and running and running and running and running, where it's like, at the end of the day, what the fuck's the point? Make money, go to bed, eat, that's it. Eat, sleep, shit, and that's it. You know, wake up every day, do the same thing, and by all means, you know, you got to do what you got to do to make that moony. But for me, it's just like, nah, that's, I gotta feel like I'm making a difference, and you never know until it strikes you. But I just want to get off the wheel, and that is one thing that I think everybody should listen for, where you just gotta take me days. Because if you don't, I don't care if you have kids, no kids, relationship, married, single, I don't care. Like, get off of your routine. Like, if you're you just got, no matter what, I'm not gonna say go outside, or I'm not gonna say stay in, because everybody has that me time. You know, for the longest time it was me taking a bath, and I'm just like, oh, I'm taking a bath today, fuck today was a shitty day. I gotta focus more on me. And speaking of that, that is also one thing I really need to work on. Nice transition, I know. Like, comment, and subscribe. But I gotta focus more on me. Like, not what other people want and what other people want me to do. I have to focus on me, because if I don't, I need to go back out, walk more, because I felt like I've been on chains on my ankles, and it was stupid for me to let it go that far. And for me to really do that, and for me to just accept that, it was a shame. It was generally a shame. And I just felt like I've lost my motivation in a lot of ways. And you know, in July or June, I've been reinvigorated, and you know, Joe 2.0 is out and everything, and I'm slowly fixing my faults, that what I had prior. And that was the thing again with Spyro, and I apologize bringing it up, but it is a big point where I really had to price things out, and a lot of people knew me, and I just couldn't. I had to focus more on me instead of like giving a big discount. I'm just like, no, this is what it's worth. I had to stick by my guns, and 9 times out of 10 they understood. And that's one thing why I was afraid to really put myself forward, because I didn't know how other people felt until I said it, and people gave me props for it. Be like, oh wow, you know, you're changing. And I wanted to change. I've gotten a big reason to do it. Losing your motivation and really losing your will to do anything has really opened my eyes. And I'm one of those people where once you're in a slump, and like you've gotten out of that slump, it's much easier for me to go back in that slump, because my brain is just like, oh, okay, something's not going right, okay, back in the hole you go. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I just went from living on Sky 9 or Cloud 9, and now I'm all the way back down here. And I'm like, whoa. And that's also another thing. I've realized to breathe. And it's insane. It's stupid to say, but I've realized to take a step back. And I'm so much more calmer. I'm so much more happier. And I've realized that, where I'm like, whoa, hold the fucking phone. I need to figure this out. And one big rule now that I have, if it's out of my hands, I could only stress a little bit. Because I used to stress over the shittiest things. Oh man, what if that package gets damaged? What if this package doesn't arrive on time? You know, I sold something. I want them to be pleased. And I'm just like, look, you know, back of my head, I'm just like, I tried my best. I really did. I packed it well. They know I packed it well. And if it gets lost or damaged or whatever, that was the shit that I used to worry about. And my OCD honestly has went away. And having OCD, you know what it's like. You could fidget about the smallest things. You could obsess about the smallest things. This isn't in its place. This needs to be clean. And it sucks. And I don't, honest to God, know how I did that. If I'm going to be honest, like, if you have really bad OCD like I had, you know how, like you're cleaning or whatever. And for whatever reason, my brain just snapped, you know, and I'm like, why am I worrying about this shit? Like, who the hell cares? Except for me. Give me 1 second while I enjoy some water. And you should too, because you're a listener and I care. Okay, I'm back. But it is one of those things where if I can't control it, fuck it. And with that being said, another thing that I'm working on, and it's going into 2022, is not letting people go. It's just not to worry as much. And I want to bring back the word totem pole again, because so many people were on that totem pole and I cared and I love them all on different levels. But on the weird point where once you have too many things on the totem pole, or too many people, or too many carvings, let's put it in the realistic standpoint. If you have too many carvings, right, and you're carving up a totem pole, you build it up, build it up, build it up, you know what starts to happen? It starts to lean a little bit. It starts to lean and lean and lean. And if you put too much weight on the top and too much weight on the bottom, it'll collapse and it'll fall over. And that's what my tower did, where I had too many people on there and I just had to get my priorities right. And it's funny because MySpace, the website, used to have top 9 people in their lives, and I'm like, that's funny. That is really funny, because the 10th person, not a lot of people know, was you. You know, you were always number 1, but the 9 other people, you know, they took their line in place and everything. And not a lot of people like realize that by now, but it was sort of like the totem pole standpoint, where I have to pick and choose who gives a shit about me and who do I have to care about. And at the end of the day, it has to be me on there. You know, how does this benefit me? How does this help me? How whatever, how does this help me? Because if it takes, because one thing that you have to realize as a human being, time you can't get back. Time you just can't get back. And I try to work my ass off on no matter whatever I do, because so the future me doesn't have to worry about it as much, because the current me is kicking ass and taking names, unfortunately. And I hope yours is too, where just in case if yours isn't, that doesn't mean you suck or you're a failure. And it doesn't mean that. It's everybody goes at their different speeds in life. Unfortunately, some don't go at all, and some go way too fast and then burn out. It's one of those things where you got to realize what you're comfortable with. As long as the ball keeps on moving, that's all that should matters. And other people have to understand that. And if they criticize you or talk beneath you, then that's something that should be a red flag. And 2022 is just going to be a magical year, I think, for a lot of us. You know, I definitely know it's going to be a special year for me, just moving forward and creating chapters in my book. And I'm excited, honestly, and I hope you guys are as well. And if you want to join in my book on this journey, I can't wait. You know, I never know when this is going to end, when this is going to start up again, or whatever. I wish I did. You know, unfortunately with me, motivation goes a long way, and the emails and the support have really been phenomenal, and the listeners as well, where don't feel like it's you have to send me an email. As long as you're listening, it puts a smile on my face. And you know, certain people, one specific person, they know they put a stupid smile on my face for a while now. And I always feel one other thing that I have to accept and like change mine, because I people have to understand this, and it's a real problem that I had, and I've talked about it deeply in the episode Failure, where for the longest time I felt my brain thought I was a dirty penny that nobody wanted to pick up. And it took time to really configure that out. And when you realize, oh shit, you got a mission in life, or wow, I'm not a dirty penny, I'm a dirty nickel. No, it's one of those things that is eye-opening, where nobody else could change your mind on that. Where if you think you're a failure, and you tell yourself you're a failure and you fucking suck, and everything in between, you're gonna start thinking that, you're gonna start thinking that, and you're gonna start thinking that. If I didn't have certain people in my life, I would probably still feel like that. And you know, it's not a pity party or anything. It's called depression, and that's how I handled it. And now that I've recovered from depression, it is an eye-opener, where that's why I always say, and you know, I reference her sometimes, where there was a famous scene with Taylor Swift, and on one of her songs, the phone picks up in the beginning. She's like, Taylor's not available right now, she's dead. And you know, it comes out like it's Taylor 2.0 or whatever. That's how I really felt, where for me, that part of me didn't die. It's just evolved into the person to who I am, because I'd never want a part of me to die or pass on, or my heart to be withered away. No. Because deep at the core, you are who you are. And I loved every part of that. And then realizing, and every eye opened wide, and realized, wow, you know, you got a purpose in this life. You know, you're amazing. You know, and it's not even telling yourself that. You gotta believe it too. And having the power, having the strength to really be like, yeah, I'm here to put a smile on people's faces, and that's fucking it, or something like that. And it's one of those things where my whole mindset changed a little bit, where not thinking in a negative form was very hard, because I was more of a realist than an opportunist, where I would basically think the worst thing possible. And I still do that to, unfortunately, guard my heart too, in a lot of ways, because if you think of the worst case scenario, and something else happens more positively, you're more shook by it, because naturally our heart as human beings, we more would like to help other people. That's our human nature. We want to help. And then unfortunately there are more people that would like to destroy, but that wasn't our nature. They were brought up like that. And I find it quite odd that, you know, I never thought people could change. I really didn't, you know. But I always said people could change if they have the right motivation to. And me basically contradicting what I believed is amazing, because I never thought I could change. I never thought I could change. I thought I would always think that I'm a loser and a failure and with everything I do. And to realize, oh, okay, you know, my life's not over yet, you know. So until it's over, I can't really say what I'll be or what I am. And I don't even care if my name lives on forever or if people forget me. It matters what I feel like, if that makes sense. And that's why I can't wait for 2022 to really put a full year in motion. And, you know, July would basically be a full year of having that mindset. But now that I've took a few months to really develop my brand new mindset and smiling more often, I couldn't tell you the last time I smiled this much. I really can't. I'm more excited than nervous, and I realize I think I'm on the 18th hole and all the other holes are filled. And I'm not saying like this is my last chapter, not by any means, but it's like going to a brand new course and a new adventure. And you're like, man, I really can't wait for whatever's going to happen. And I want more people to get their eyes opened. You know, one main thing that I had to do, and I want people to listen up. Like if you're just like doing something or drawing or whatever, I want you to like to sit up for a little bit and realize one thing that altered my life is I didn't talk negative about myself at all. And I really want you guys to understand that, because I used to say every negative thing about myself before anybody else can. And that is one thing where if you said it first, then it wouldn't hurt as much. Or, you know, they're a stranger, who cares what other people think? It was one of those things where I felt it, I said it, and I believed it. So once I really talked positive about myself, positive things happened, and the universe listened, and all the gods listened. And it was one of those things where once that came out of my hands, like I said, I let a lot of things go. If I couldn't control it, why get upset? And because there's nothing you could do about it. There's virtually nothing you could have done about it. So why even fucking worry? And realize if it's a small problem, don't worry about it. If it's a big problem, get it resolved as soon as possible. And that's it. And unfortunately, you know, some people aren't like that. And I was one of those people. But once you stop worrying, once you stop talking negative about yourself and cut out the what ifs, your life will be so much better. And once I've done that, I could genuinely tell you it is 10 times better. And I just can't. I thank a lot of people that have helped me develop. And one thing I always say is, I'm sorry if I failed you before, and I hope I don't do it again. Even if I didn't fail them, but if I did, you know, they know they know I'm truly sorry if I did fail them. And if they want to give me another chance, I'm fucking here and I'm ready to go. And I think that's what more people should do. Thank people that you love. Because when was the last time you thanked your parents? When was the last time you gave them a hug for no fucking reason? And they say, what was that for? And you just say, thank you for being you. And people don't do that. And I wish people do that, because you got to appreciate what you have until it's gone. Until it's gone. That is your mission. When you're listening to this, you thank or text or call the most important person that you care about and you love, and you tell them, thank you for being in my life, because I don't know what I would have done without you. Thank you. And appreciate what you have. And that's it. That's it. 2022. I can't wait. How are you gonna change? How are you personally gonna change? And I think everybody has a goals, as I've said in previous episodes, and you just got to work for them. You got to work toward them, because once you lose that fire inside your heart, you're done till it gets refueled, if you will. Just got to say, I'm doing it for this person, I'm doing this for me, and that's all. And if you don't have that will, then unfortunately it may be time to change goals. But that is going to be the last episode of the Wilde Cabin podcast of 2021. This may be the season finale. We shall see. Maybe season 3 coming up. Ooh. But don't forget to follow on whatever platform you're listening on. Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, whatever it may be. And write me an email if you like at mrjoewilde@yahoo.com. Thank you all for listening. I hope you're happy because you made me happy. Take care. Bye-bye.